going on? What's going on, my beautiful people? This is Eugene Napoleon, Napoleon's Corner, episode 143. Before I get started, please like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Again, episode 143. The title of this episode, it's actually Actions Will Be the Teacher. Actions will be the teacher. In retrospect, your actions technically will be the teacher. You will learn whatever's going on, you will learn from your actions. So this particular topic, it came up because I'm watching the news over the last few days, and I'm paying attention to, usually I don't, but I got caught up. I have to admit, I got caught up listening and watching what's going on within the news. And it boggles my mind when I think about how is it that all the decisions that are being made around this country, right, wrong, or indifferent, we really have to do a better job of just watching what's being said and watching the actions of others. And again, I said this a few episodes ago, and how it affects, our overall society, right? What I'm having a hard time, I guess, thinking when I think this thing through, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how is it that we don't understand as human beings our actions, our own actions. It's different if you get caught up in you have a problem, right? You get something and you get caught up in something, you probably, maybe it's somebody else's fault, maybe, guilty by association, maybe whatever, but it's not necessarily your direct actions that put you in that situation. Okay. I somewhat can get that. Okay. But what happens when it is our own actions, when it is our own decisions, and then you are only being dealt with, I guess, because of the things that you've done or the things that you've said, and it's yours. You have to own it, right? And I guess that's where I'm at with this particular episode. We don't do a good job of owning our own stuff. It's always somebody else's fault, right? I'm not sure how anyone can think that success is coming your way if you don't own all of the things that you say or do. I don't understand that. So yeah, your actions will be your teacher sooner or later, right? Because down the road, we learn from everything. I don't think we understand that as well, right? We learn from everything. Every action has a reaction, right? Every decision has a consequence, negative or positive, right? Our actions will be the teacher in the long run. My mother used to always say, just live long enough and you will see, right? Life will teach you. Same exact premise with this. Actions will be the teacher, right? So I want to get back to something that's very notable, I guess, that's happening right now. We all know, look, decisions will be made within the next few months about what decisions we're going, what direction we're going in as a country. I get all of that, right? But I'm going to say this because it makes, I guess it makes sense to reason when you start to think about, as we all get older and as we all have to make decisions for our families and things of that nature, and even obviously the younger generations behind us, I'm praying that we do get this simple notion. You cannot do certain things, say certain things, and expect a greater outcome if you're not willing to take responsibility for your actions and your words. It just doesn't work that way. So we have a lot of smart people, right, that are around us. I'm sure any one of us, we're going to hang with people that are really intelligent people. We find ourselves to be intelligent people. So you're not going to hang with someone that's not evenly yoked from you. At least I try not to. Let me say that. Okay, I'll use myself as an example. I try not to. So with me saying that, what I'm actually putting together here is, if you're hanging around a certain group of people that understand if they're holding themselves accountable on a very high level, then you too should hold yourself accountable on a very high level. There is no way that some of the things that are being said, when you watch the news, and I sit back and scratch my head all the time, it boggles my mind about certain questions that should be asked. Issues come up, the scenario is laid out, it's fully painted in front of you. You clearly see and hear what's going on. You clearly see and hear and know the truth about what's going on, but yet and still, there's no responsibility being taken, or there are 101 excuses as to why things are being said or done. So the actions are being done. There seems to be no learning or no teaching going on, honestly, where you're getting what you really need to get out of that situation. And I'm going to paint a very direct picture. So money, politics, religion are the three things I try not to talk directly about because it gets to be so frustrating. In money, I see these so-called pseudo-celebrities or celebrities, however you want to frame them, and all of the craziness that's going on around this entertainment space, right? And you shake your head because once again, the actions of certain individuals, you got to question the morality of it, number one. But if you put yourself in that situation, then you got to accept what comes with it, right? That's just the basic principle of really life, when be held accountable for what you say and what you do. I can't stress that enough. So the money side of it, so that means because all of the money that's being made, one would think that allows you to kind of act a certain way or treat people a certain way because of the kind of money that's being made. That means you can buy your way out of everything. No, it doesn't work that way. Your actions, you're going to be held accountable and called to the table. Then conversely, the things that you do, your teacher will be whatever consequence you get for those actions. And you can't buy your way out of that. Sooner or later, even that runs out. So as you cross over into politics and you kind of see how, I know the human race is, for me, that's just what it is. I get it. Black, white, green, purple, orange, whatever the case may be, every color under the sun, I understand that. But at the end of the day, no matter what you think, no matter what side you're on, being a human being is really should be in the frontal lobe of all of our brains. How can we better humanity? How can we do that? How can we better humanity and making the best decisions possible for all of us collectively? Because at the end of the day, no matter what you've obtained on this earth, you can't take it with you. So shouldn't it be better to just let's help mankind by being the best possible versions of ourselves as we possibly can be? Not about the money, not about the rags, not about the riches, not about the mansions, not about the cars, none of that. Because when you're gone, again, you can't take this stuff with you. So how about let's just focus on being the best human beings we can be? But for some odd reason, the foundational pieces that we were born with, that we talk about, that we were raised with, somewhere down the line, that stuff is gone. It's tossed out the window. So in that case, actions will be your teacher. Sooner or later, you're going to have to learn from whatever those vices are that people have and we all have. We got to get better with that. So that's why this particular episode hit me kind of hard, because I think 2 or 3 days ago, I'm just watching this stuff on the news and I'm like, oh my God. And usually I try not to, because I said it, I think last episode, sometimes it becomes problematic when you may think that the solution is so simple because it's sitting right in front of you. And a lot of it stems from just being completely honest about what's going on. And I think that becomes the biggest problem when we're talking about trying to help someone go through whatever they're dealing with, right? Honesty is the best policy when it comes to that, because if you're honest, you can work through whatever the situation is. If you can have an honest conversation, right? And unfortunately, because of money, because of celebrity, because of politics, people don't want to be honest. It's far easier to stick your head in the sand and act like that didn't happen or that wasn't said. Or if it did happen, there's a stronger group of people on this side that really frames it a little bit differently and it becomes a false reality, right? And then the decisions that are made based on those false realities and those untruths, right? We're going to rock with that because it benefits us versus the people on the other side, whoever that may be, you're going to be left holding the bag sooner or later, right? And no one is taking responsibility for anything that's said or anything that's done. And it's an interesting, it really is an interesting dynamic when you get a little bit older and you start really looking into these things. It's sad because I'm of a certain age where I'm now looking at my grandson, right? And I'm hoping and praying that when he's of a certain age, maybe he doesn't have to deal with some of the stuff that we're seeing coming down the pike, but I don't know. The prayer is and the hope is we can make this place a little bit better just by making the proper decisions and learning how to treat people in a real cohesive manner where we all collectively are trying to pull in the same direction together versus it's so divisive right now. Hopefully we can pull together and start meeting every one of us, each of us meeting the opposition somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the middle. If it's not 50-50, because it may not be, maybe it's 60-40, all right? But it can't be 70-30, and it damn sure can't be 80-20, but maybe we are meeting somewhere in the middle where we can make this place, this earth, where we are right now, this society a little bit better, piece by piece, each one teach one, right? But it really does start with our actions will be our teachers. So if we want something to be positive, we then have to sow positive soil. If we want something to be negative, that's fine too, but then be accountable for your actions and be accountable for your words. And if you can do that, 9 times out of 10, the younger people coming up behind you and behind us will learn from that as well. But what they can't do, they can't learn from negative teachings because guess what? When they have kids, they're going to teach their kids the same thing that they've learned. And I'm not sure how positive that's going to be if it's negative. So let's try to be the best possible versions of ourselves each and every day. Nobody's perfect. I'm not advocating that. But what I am saying, pay attention to the things that you say and the things that you do. And each day that God blesses us to wake up, maybe we get a chance to make it right. Mistakes should not define us, but they certainly shouldn't become so consistent that we think mistakes are right and we're doing it and it's a consistent bad habit. Let's see if we can get away from that. Actions will be your teacher, and hopefully your actions are positive. So the things that are taught and the lessons that you leave here and move forward with are positive as well. I appreciate your time. Listen, I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I'll see you in a few weeks. I'm off for 2 weeks. So I'll see you probably the 3rd week in April, God willing. Take care.